Hi, this is Mason, and you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Now it's time to start the post-game show. Here's Brian.
I'm hitting the wrong buttons before the show even starts. Strong start, just like the strong finish for Syracuse today. Yeah, level 1 fella Ferda. I blame Nate George. I thought there was going to be some more fouls down the stretch, so I had a few more seconds to get things sorted out. Yeah, no. Devo's throwing things off a freeway off-ramp somewhere, the way that end of that goes. Yeah, that's my new nickname, Howard. Welcome in. Yeah, I blame Nate George and Red. Fire them all. They screwed up the post-game show. Oh, man. Welcome in, everybody. Another just fantastic afternoon of Syracuse basketball. Syracuse falls to Miami. Miami actually just scored 9 more points since the end of the game. 85-76, the final score. Miami shot 61% for the game. Miami shot 58% in the first half, and then they shot better in the second half. Rebounds in the game, plus 16 for Miami. Second chance points in the game, plus 9 for Miami. Fifth chance points in the game was plus a lot for Miami. It's just, it's tough. It's tough right now for the Orange. It's 3 in a row. And I think, as you can all tell in the conversation that is beginning here in the chat that we've been having now for weeks, the fan base certainly is beyond the boiling point right now. The fan base is beyond the boiling point right now. You need a paper bag, T. Murphy? Thank you, Howard. There we go. Disappointed in William Kyle's rebounding. Yeah, William Kyle only had 4 rebounds today. What's up with that? Which made him tied for the team lead in rebounds. Syracuse said, I know there's not a lot of rebounds when the other team makes 61% of their shots. Syracuse had 21 rebounds today. 21 rebounds today. Just shocking. We know Mike in Connecticut has a paper bag. Maybe he can get it to you if you'd like to call in wearing a paper bag. How was the actual crowd? The little birdies who are not in my backyard, but elsewhere, told me it was around 11,000 today. Around 11,000 today in the Dome. So almost doubled the last game. There's that, but realistically, half at best of what a Saturday afternoon January crowd would have been as recently as a decade ago. Yeah, are they living up to the talent? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the talent level is. The talent level's better than that, right? They're not playing up to their talent level. That said, do they have the talent level of a top team in the country? No, but there's talent there. It's just, I don't know. It's a broken mess right now. Yeah, I'd say, fellow Ferda, there is NCAA tournament level talent on this team. This is a team that, when they're right, they play NCAA tournament level basketball, and they have not been right in a minute here with 3 straight losses. Yeah, there will not be an attendance title this season, Jam. Now, what was the announced attendance? Let's see. Is that posted yet? What's the announced attendance? Not posted in the stats yet. The announced attendance will be 18 or 20 or something. And Syracuse, realistically, what's crazy about an attendance like this, Syracuse realistically is still going to be in the top 3, 4, 5 in attendance in the country. And a crowd the size of what Syracuse had there today, for most teams in the country, would be even potentially larger than their building holds. But here it's disappointing. Here it's disappointing. All right, I think we can, as you know, link pin top of the chat if you'd like to get a call, and we'll get to the post game press conferences of Red, and maybe we'll have we've been kind of enjoying the visiting coach random pop-in for the first press conference here, which has been streamed the last few games. So maybe we'll get a little Jay Lucas in our lives. That's Jai Lucas, former Duke assistant, but we'll see on that as we go on throughout the show. But we have callers lining up already, so why not start the show with that? Because everybody's just in a fantastic mood right now. What do we have here? Our first caller has typed their name in as Autry is a level 5
Press conference here,
loser.
which has been streamed
What's up,
the
James? How
last
you
few
doing, man?
games. So maybe we'll get a little Jay
Oh,
Lucas in our lives.
if I
That's
unmute you, that's
J-A-I.
better. Do you have me now? You know what? Am I even sending anything to? It just we're on the struggle bus here. James, you got me. He does not. He is. I don't think he has me, or in just complete silence here. I don't know why I'm not hearing you. There's just nothing coming back. You look amused here. You look amused, but we got nothing coming. Oh, wait.
Hi.
There you
Hi,
are.
Lucas.
Now we got
If it's
you. Oh,
J-A-I,
there we
I'm
go.
just thinking of Hi Ally. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
It's
kind of
an
like
interesting
highlight.
spelling.
JAI. You know. Wearing
Sorry,
a
I can't
frog
hear you
top.
on here. Let me
It's
just
all
check my
that good
volume.
stuff. Now I got you on the right buttons here. Now
Can you
you're
hear
on.
me all right?
Now, yeah, I blame them not fouling late
All right.
here.
This is going to be
lost
tough.
valuable
I might have to
seconds
call
of
you back,
shot clock.
man. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Hang on.
I'm not getting any audio.
You're not getting any audio. Why are you not getting any audio? I am sending him audio. I am certain on the list of things that's not my fault. That's it. Oh man, we're just, it's a level 1 show, fellow Ferd. I'm just trying to fit in. I'm just trying to fit in, level 1 efforts at the end of the game. I'm just trying to fit in with a level 1 show. That's what we're trying to do. You could, Haig's Family Real Estate would be, you could hear both of us. Yes. Once I finally hit the right button. All right, let's try this again. All right. Can you hear me now? Okay. What's up, man?
Loud and clear. That soothing bass is coming through. Yes.
There we go. Beautiful.
So I'm actually not in a horrible mood. I did want to say that it was a little bit sad that the only time that they were able to stop Miami from scoring easily was when they went into the four corners, bleed the clock at the end of the game.
Yes.
And I thought it was interesting that Debo said the team kind of gave up at the end. I mean, they did clearly. If they didn't, then it was something that, believe it or not, Audrey didn't communicate to them. Like, you need to foul if you want to extend this misery. Maybe make it look a little bit worse. Even though we're still somehow a quad 2 win for Miami, they said that's a quality win, and I'm thinking, in what universe is this a quality win? But I was following your Twitter before, Brian, and I agree that there's no way they're going to move on from Red right now. But I can't imagine, even if they win the ACC tournament, which is unlikely, that Wildhack could possibly justify keeping him. The problems are endemic. You see the same things you were seeing in years prior. Even the defense, which was supposed to be, this shining beacon this year, and a huge difference due to their level 5 effort, not a lot of dips, all those other phrases that he would use, that coach speak that he uses, that I'm still trying to get to figure out. I have to get my own translation there. But the defense is back to sucking. So when you have an offense that has no identity, and has one or two set plays, and then other than that they play late 80s iso ball, and a defense that's back to giving up layups. I mean, they're giving up transition layups on made baskets. I don't even know how that's possible.
It's hard to do.
But
it's impressive, really.
Did you notice that, though, in the second half?
Like multiple times. Like Miami, they make baskets and then nobody's back, or they get like a 3-on-1. Or there was a couple times where it was like 1-on-2, and they're like, "Yeah, that's probably gonna work anyway. We'll just take on these two guys, and we'll score." Like, Syracuse couldn't even deal with it when they had the numbers advantage.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure if that is an effort thing. I don't tend to think it's entirely effort with this team, but it did certainly seem that they gave up in the second half, and the defense is not as good. So, I was hoping you might put up a stream of the bird watching area.
I mean, I have that button. We can do that at some point here.
I would have watched that only because less misery there, and more chance of being surprised, perhaps pleasantly. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other thoughts besides, now that the defense is back to being, I'm just not contesting. I mean, too many easy layups and dunks.
Yeah.
This team gets dunked on like it's NBA Jam, They're making free throws now, yippee. But, it says something, I do think, about what happens in the locker room and what it says something about your coaching when they are in the second half. The point differential for this team in the last 3 years has been, I mean, drastically bad.
Mhm.
Just you don't want to you don't want to come out somewhat strong, and then whatever adjustments are made at halftime are not made in your locker room, and then you're thoroughly dominated in the second half, because it's not like they're suddenly changing up their offense. I don't know.
No. And adjustments in a basketball game, they're never, I mean, sometimes they are. They're rarely like large, crazy large things, but it's the little things. And clearly, be it Red, be it the players. I mean, it's all a combination. Like Syracuse is not good at it. They are not good at it because it's like, all right, you go to the locker room. Miami shot 58% in the first half. You're like, all right, we got to figure out something.
Yeah.
They shot 64% in the second half. So they didn't figure out anything. And that's the game right there. You couldn't get a rebound. You couldn't play any defense. You're not going to win a game like that. You're not going to win a game like that. And it didn't improve from literally minute 1 to minute 40.
I thought that the use of the 2-3 zone was at least an adjustment.
Yeah,
but
it didn't work.
I don't know.
But they tried.
Well, they were playing it up like, man, they should have stuck with the zone. They were stringing together some stops, and I'm like, no,
they couldn't get a rebound. They were going to get hammered on the glass in the zone. They
were, which is one of the downfalls of the zone historically, is that you don't have a player to box out, so to speak. But also, you're getting Kyle and Donnie way too extended, going for steals out at the 3-point line. I mean, a lack of discipline in the 2-3 and the man-to-man. I don't know if it's less tenacious. I don't know if you've noticed something. I mean, I've watched almost every game. I am a glutton for punishment and clearly masochistic after watching all the football games too. Thank you for being my therapy this athletic year, Brian. But
it's
have you
free
noticed?
too, James. Free therapy. That's hard to beat. No copay.
Yeah, I live in Baltimore, so there are no birds here. They've all found much safer places to be.
There you go.
Even if colder. But I don't know if you've noticed something about the defense changing. I don't think it's entirely an effort thing, but certainly since ACC play has started, they're not really stopping anyone. I mean, they're giving up about 50% field goal percentage, just a lot of easy shots too, uncontested shots, not getting back on defense. I mean, it's back to being a tough watch. I want to root for this team because they're at least, they're talented. They have some exciting players, but I just feel like the year, if anything, more disappointed. But I can't say unmet expectations, because I thought even with talent that, this operation would fail.
Yeah, the defense, I don't know. I think part of it was like some of those numbers were out of whack in a good way based on, the first few games of the season against very low level competition. And then I'll say this, like when they lost Donnie early on, I think the team did, tighten down the screws on defense a little bit. Is that a Donnie thing? I don't know what the reason is. I mean, or was it just like, all right, they played, I'll say this, like the Houston game, they played really, really hard in the Houston game.
Yeah.
The Tennessee game, Tennessee had a terrible shooting day, but they played really, really hard in that game. Then he had a string of, easier defensive games. Now you're in a league play, a lot of that you get in the league play, scouting gets cranked up, things like that get cranked up in league play. Not necessarily with Miami because it's a new staff, but Jay Lucas was at Duke, so you're dealing with coaches that have been in the league, that know your deal, know what you do, and they know your tricks, right? And your flaws in league play get exposed quickly because you're dealing with people that have dealt with it before. So it's not you can't skate on your flaws, or you can't hide your flaws. They get attacked immediately, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
I do think JJ and Donnie, unfortunately, I guess they're two most dependable scorers. I wouldn't say they're most effective or efficient scorers. I don't think defense is their, is either one of those players' strongest among their strongest traits. You can't obviously sit Donnie because, unlike JJ, he's going to score even if he has to go 7 for 20 or whatever the hell he went, last game. But JJ, I feel like his defense has improved, but it's just not saying much, unfortunately. And Kion, he's a 3-level scorer. He's a 0-level defender. from what I'm able to ascertain watching.
Yeah, the defense has not joined his game yet. Hopefully at some point, but yeah, it's not there. It's not, and it's not like Dad. Like Melo wasn't exactly a stout defender, but when Melo was 6'8", 230, like he'd make a stop by accident just because he was big. And at least in college, I mean, heck, Melo averaged 10 rebounds a game in college, so he's maybe not stopping you, but like he was adding things at that end, and unfair. Obviously, Carmelo's one of the best college players of all time.
He was a great rebounder I think he played a lot of small forward, and he was more like a 2. Yeah. Sometimes he'd bring the ball up just because he was so far and away their best player, even though you had McNamara, that if he got a rebound, he would just carry the ball up floor. He even did that with the Knicks. But yeah, I was surprised, actually. Were you surprised to see Kion with that thunderous dunk? I didn't know he could jump. I mean, no offense. I just didn't. He doesn't athletically strike me as...
Yeah, he certainly usually opts for a smoother operation, like a layup based on his dad. Like it's kind of the same as Melo in a little way, right? Like Melo usually opted for smooth, but he was a very powerful athlete when he needed to be. But yeah, that was certainly I'd say the most athletically powerful moment we've seen from Kion this season.
Yeah, I mean, Melo, one of the reasons I think he was a great rebounder, he could jump, and he was thick. I mean, he came in as he was a grown-ass man. But yeah. Well, anyway, I know you have other callers lined up. Sorry about our audio issues, but I'm going to go and try and find some birds to watch, and hope you will be able to stream those in subsequent games. I can't watch too much more of this.
All right, James. Thanks as always. I'll give you a little as you go away here. I'll give you a little bird cam for your exit. Nothing going on in the backyard right now, but it's sunny. It may be 0 degrees outside, but yeah, James, that's that is yeah. Don't look at the thermometer. Just don't look at the thermometer. That is the backyard. There you go. There you go. We'll bring that back later on for our player of the game if whatever we get with that. Our guy James giving us. Okay, let's see. If you'd like to join the show, you can do what James did and click the link top of the chat. We'll be getting to Red's post-game press conference, or somebody's post-game press conference sooner than later. Right now, we have an excitingly empty podium that's going on right now. That is an empty podium. There you go. Empty podium. Empty podium. Oh, hey, not empty podium. Wow. Look at that. That's Jay Lucas. Let's hear what Jay Lucas has to say.
Winning on the road is always hard. Especially in this environment, which is one of the most historic in college basketball. The one thing going into the game really worried me, and it got us. We just got lucky towards the end, was just their size and their athleticism. We have been having trouble turning the ball over, and we end up with 16 turnovers again. That led to 17 points for them. But we were able to battle and compete throughout the game and stay connected. And this was a big win for us, just because we're coming off, 2 losses, and we needed something to get back on the right side. And then also, just playing against them, you don't realize it till you're out there and you see them, just the size and athleticism that they do have. And a big part of the game was getting them out of transition as much as we can. And you could see in the moments when they gotten out in transition just how electric they are. You end up with one missed tip ball and Betsy hits a 3, or one missed loose ball and you got Anthony at the rim or somebody at the rim. So it's important for me, especially in this game, to keep it up tempo, but also slow it down as much as I could with what we needed to do, I felt, to execute and win. But I'm just excited we ended up being able to pull away at the end.
Your related news, this was the coach whose team scored 85 points.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
We have seen...
Don't break the podium, Jay.
Went down, make me look taller. We had seen a lot of zone the whole year. So we're really familiar with playing against the zone. And so it's something we're comfortable in doing. We just had to make sure when we got the ball in the middle, we were making the right reads. And I thought in the first half, Malik wasn't. And that's how he ends up with 7 turnovers. But once we figured it out, relaxed, took a deep breath, we were able to do it. And then also, scouting. We struggled against the zone last game against Florida State. They played it a little bit different, but the same. So we kind of expected and anticipated every game.
Coach, Jay Lucas, son of John Lucas, former great player, assistant at Duke the last few years.
How did you see your guys execute that? We thought that was the biggest part of their firepower. with Kings and Betsy. You know, you have a guy almost shooting 60% from three. He's going to be at the top of the scouting report with Betsy. And the same thing with Kings, some of the stuff that they do and some of the actions they run open him up a lot. So, you know, for me, what we kind of do to kind of negate it was we just start switching. We just start switching to kind of take it away and make sure he couldn't get any open looks. And a big part of it was just limiting their threes to try to knock down their firepower, to be honest with you.
There's a coach saying that Syracuse should get Betsy more shots. That's what Jay Lucas just said. Right there. Get Betsy more
We
shots.
have to be. And the last two games, we always want to get back 40% of our misses. And we want to almost get 15 offensive rebounds per game. And we want our second chance points to match our offensive rebounds. And so Clemson and Florida State, we end up in the 20s in our percentages. And we're not this offensive juggernaut. You know, we are in the sense of we have a formula that we got to stick to. Offensive rebound is a big part of it. Getting fouled, points in the paint. And then for me and for us, I got them understanding if we hit threes, we hit threes. But we have a formula that it sticks to it. And, you know, I tell the guys the same thing. Number one team in the country, Arizona, makes 6 threes a game. And no one talks about them having bad offense. So if we stick to the formula and do what we're supposed to do, we'll be fine. And until the last 2 games, I think we're number one scoring team in the ACC. And we get 85 today, and we hit threes. That's why we get 85. But we're not banking on, like, making 10 threes a game for us to be really good. You know, we're banking on offensive rebounding, getting fouled, points in the paint. And that takes physicality and grit, which is hard because you're almost playing offense like defense, but that's how we're built. If we're built something else, we'll play a different way, but that's what makes us good, so we have to buy into it.
You tried to ice out Miami, Ryan? Aggressive.
Toward the end of the game as well, Syracuse is trying to make some moves for a comeback. Just what you can say about this play.
Well, you know, I almost wanted to snatch him. I'll use that word because he went for a one-handed lob. And we teach 2 hands everything. He goes one-handed lob, long rebound, leads to a transition point for them. But he's been big for us. You know, the one thing he didn't do today that he had been doing was getting double-figure rebounds. But Malik made up for it and getting his rebounds. But our size with him and Malik in there at the same time is what kind of offers teams situations of what they want to do. And then against the press at the end, I thought he did a good job, but we did a good job of attacking it to score instead of letting it get us on our heels.
Yeah, because the press resulted in nothing good for Syracuse.
By JJ, and then you guys came right back and hit a 3.
Yeah, it's a game of runs. That moment is big. You know, like I said, I think our missed dunk was the same thing. You know, when Ernest missed his dunk and they come down and they score. So it's just the timing that happens. But the game is right there. You know, these small margins in this game. It was a 9-point win. You know, if we take care of the ball, it could be a 20-point win. If we turn it over a little bit more, you know, it's a closer game. We might be in overtime or something. So it's right there. It's right there. And they're a really good team. You know, you hit rough spots. We were in a rough spot. You know, you hit rough spots in the season, and you just got to kind of battle and figure it out. But I like their team. I like how they're built. I think George does a really good job of just finding and picking the open people and finding the right spots. They got shot blocking, rim protection. I think Red's done a really good job with his roster composition. Looks like at least to me, it looks like a throwback Big East Syracuse team. They just don't play zone the whole game. But they're long. You got White. You got Kyle. You got all these guys out there, so they do a good job.
They just don't, win the games.
Drop the rhythm throughout the game. What kind of things did you see with the makeup of the team that allowed you to think that you could do that and do it successfully?
You know, part of it was, one, is always keeping the ball out the paint. You know, a big part of it I thought was just being able to initially try to get under the ball screens so George couldn't get downhill. And we did a great job early, the first 6 minutes of the game, and then the middle part of the game, he kind of got his rhythm. He started hitting Kyle in the short roll, and it kind of opened up a bunch of stuff. So then we had to adjust again, and then I thought the zone for us, the zone and going man was a big part of it too. That kind of just threw him off because now you're into your zone offense, and then all of a sudden you're halfway through the possession and it's changed. So I think just giving people different looks at times is a big part of it, and we need it. You know, we got a shortened bench, we got injuries, we got a bunch of stuff going on, so we just had to find a way to win, and we did.
You can see why Jay was a hot candidate last year.
He found his groove in the second half, 13 points. He went on that kind of small run. But then you guys kind of turned the switch on him defensively. You kind of found out how to slow him down. What did you see from Anthony, a young player, freshman year, and then how were you able to kind of slow him down after that big dunk in the three?
Well, the one thing about him, he's not shy. You know, he's going to go in there and he's going to play his game, and he has the capability to do what he did today, where if he gets hot, he can get 13, 15, 20 in a game. And, you know, a big thing is you just never know with the numbers how they're going to be in the game, but you know his capability. And so once it happened, we just kind of what we call impacted the ball a little bit more and picked up our pickup point on him and tried to force him out and kind of pressure him a little bit more so he wasn't catching it as deep and just staying out of rhythm.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, Jay Lucas. Hey, there's Jay Lucas. Imagine Red will be coming up shortly. Yeah, me and Coach Jack, we tight, LA Orange. The women's game tomorrow, their game at North Carolina, I believe, I think it's gotten moved to noon because of the impending snowstorm that everyone's freaking out about. It's going to snow here, but, you know, yeah, that's just what happens. So Red will be here shortly. Great crowd here right now. So if you are new to this operation or if you haven't gotten around to it, the subscribe button is your friend in mine. We're trying to raise that subscriber count as fast as we can. It's been growing steadily, but if you're new here, a huge number right now, click that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and you'll know whenever we are live. Also, that little $sign, it's still way too on the nose from YouTube, but I guess what is subtle to get you. That $sign next to the chat box, if you click that, there's some options in there. You can become a member of the channel, and it'll turn your name green, like Randy right there, and many other people in here. Or you can have the option to highlight various chats and whatnot. So check those things out as we do await Red. Yes, shout out to Simply Sweet Sisters. I can tell you this, Spatch and Louise, that some new potential candle flavors is the wrong term because you're not eating a candle. I suppose you could. I've seen it before. But candle scents is probably the right term, have arrived and are in production phase. So do stay vigilant for that coming soon to the Simply Sweet Sisters website. Yeah, do like Randy and become a friend of the damn show. Yes. Officially, we're a football school. Uh-oh. If Syracuse is a football school, then now we're 3-9. Oh, man. Soccer and cross-country school. Maybe we're back to being a lacrosse school. It's cyclical. Back to being a lax school. I don't know. Oh, man. Oh, here's Red. All right, what do we got, Red?
Day, especially in the second half, came down to second chance points and the points in the paint, which we knew that's what their strength was, and we just didn't do a good enough job to do that to keep them out of the paint in transition. Every time when we had a chance to kind of catch some momentum, we came up short offensively, and they came back and made us pay on the other end. I have to find a way to get our guys to understand the consistency and the tough stuff, the toughness, the second chance points, the rebounding, and I thought that was the biggest difference in the game. We just have to find a way to embrace that. Talent is just not enough, and we got to do a better job. I have to find a way to get these guys to understand how important those things are. We talk about it, we practice it, we just don't execute it, in the games. So that's on me and my staff to get these guys to do the tough stuff and fall in love with the tough stuff. We've talked about that, especially the last couple of games. That's the job at hand. We got to continue to fight, and that's all you can do. You only can fix this by continuing to fight and having confidence and pushing forward. Questions?
Red sounds like he needs a hug. Let's all give Ray a group hug.
At this point in the season, what is your message for them on why they should still believe in this team?
Well, I think the one thing is we've shown the ability to be able to play and to win, and also, I think this group will keep fighting. The coaching staff will keep fighting. It's a lot more opportunities out there. The season, provides us this year with more opportunities than we've had in the past. So it's still a lot of basketball to be played, and I think this team, and my coaching staff, we're going to keep working, and I think we can, change this and turn this thing around. I know we can. Again, we've been close, but it's just, we haven't been able to get over the hump yet, and I think this team has the ability to do it, and we will continue to work and push hard. But the season is far from over with. Unlike, years in the past, you would have to basically, have to go and do something, very, very hard. But we still got a lot of great opportunities, and this team has competed. We've come up short, so, it's there. We just got to be able to do some little things just a little bit better.
Got that?
Las Vegas, the team played really good defense. The defense was tougher. You came home against Tennessee.
All right, Donna, getting into the D. Dig in on it, Donna.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about. Obviously, in league play, it's a little bit more familiarity with what, and the game planning and things like that. So that always is something. But we talked about that as a team, and I talked about that with the guys. Like we got to get our edge back. And I thought today was a good sign on that end. When you look at us being able to force them over turn them over 16 times. So that's heading in the right direction. I think the games before that we did not do that. We did not turn teams over. And I thought today we got out in transition and got some points in transition, and that's a big part of what we do. So we have to keep doing that, and I think we've lost that edge a little bit, and we've talked about it. So we got to keep, trying to be aggressive and be in people's faces and not foul as much and, make people take tough shots.
But what of the 62% of their shots they made, Red?
How do you keep your players focused and attention on the season and testing?
I think that's always, the issue or the problem trying to do it. And what I've learned is, the noise is never going away. The noise will always be there, especially now, with the different platforms and everything and parents, around. The noise was there when we were winning, and the noise is there when you're losing. So, that's something that comes with it. And, my job and our job is to get our guys focused, to get them to, to buy into what we're trying to do and keep their heads up. And so that's what we're going to do.
Parents was an interesting word to toss in there. Yeah.
You talk in practice, but the execution isn't necessarily happening in the games. How frustrating is it for you that your message isn't getting across?
The message is being received. I think the inconsistencies, and I think, again, the timing. We just had some plays there, we got a shot, we got the ball where we needed to get, we don't make it. Someone, kind of, is frustrated. They get back, they get an easy point. I think in particular we had probably 2 5-point swings where we had a chance to do something, make a shot that we normally make. We don't make it. They go back down and they cash in on that. So that's the frustrating part because they do it. We work. Our staff. Everybody puts so much time and effort in, and our players as well. And it's not 40 minutes. It's those dips. And I've been saying that from the beginning of the year. We've been trying to fight those dips all year, and so I have to try to figure out, something better, something better. That's my job. I don't run away from that. I don't shy away from that. But also, our guys, it goes both ways. I think our guys have to, step up as well.
Coach,
Dips.
like a big dunk, fire up the crowd.
Yeah.
Do you teach? Is there a teaching point? Do you teach JJ to do anything different in that situation, or do you just live with that happening?
Yeah, we want to be aggressive. Makes and misses are part of a game, and when the game really boils down to it, it's about makes and misses, and defensively, I think we got them to miss, but they got the ball back, and they capitalized. So. But in that situation, I wouldn't tell JJ to do anything except make it. You just got to make it. But that's how the ball has been bouncing.
Coach,
Miami made 62% of their shots.
Just what did you see that made that happen, and how important is it for them to get going for this offensive?
It's very important for us. We had that stretch where we wasn't making threes, and then, since we got into conference, we were making threes, and that's a big part of it. I thought Miami's defenders did a really good job of getting through those screens, getting through our screens, blowing them up, making those guys on the catch put the ball on the floor. They didn't give our guys much room. So I thought that's what Miami did.
Coach, you talk about falling in love with the tough stuff, wanting the guys to fall in love with those difficult things, those little pieces that they need to correct. Why do you feel like they haven't fallen in love with it up to this point, this many games in?
I think, we talk about young men, a lot of young men that come in, and, like anything, I'm sure this is for most coaches, that their identity is probably a little different, and so, that's the challenge, is to get them to understand those things. And that's coaching, that's my job, to get them to understand that. Like, you have to do those things, right? Like, those little things, those loose balls, those 50-50s, the miss, the game plan, right? Like, you got to know the game plan. And, that's my job. And if to get them to do it, or try to find someone that can do it.
Coach,
I wonder how far off Syracuse plays from what Red is attempting to tell them to do.
Aggression. I thought we got extended. It was the first time we kind of got extended. And what Miami does is, one, they're a big physical team, and those guys, they send 3 guys to the glass, pretty consistently. And those guys, by us being extended, I thought we gave up a little bit of inside position, and then we played a lot of zone. I thought that's where they really kind of got some second shots when we got them to miss. They were already. The way the defense is, you're gonna have some guys, bigger guys inside of you, because we are up trying to take away shooters. And when the shot is taken, we're coming down, and they got some inside position. So we knew we'd have to fight better, and I thought they did a good job of keeping us on their backs and getting the ball.
Time for one more.
Red, some of the things you said about getting the team to buy in on aggression and everything, like the clock's kind of ticking against you to do that, and the schedule is getting tough up there. So how do you adjust things at this rate of the season when the margin for error is pretty small?
Yeah, we have to have a sense of urgency, to be honest with you. That's the biggest thing. Having that sense of urgency, knowing that this is has to get done. I think they know that, but we have to do that. Like, it's the talk is, we have to do the actions, and we have to do it. And we do it at times, but the consistency piece of it is, that's the thing that they have to understand. They have to understand, like, every possession matters, and that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the difference. We have to come up with more, dirty plays. We just have to. We got to come up with more those on the ball, on the floor, those type of plays. And then we got to cash in when we have a chance to cash in. We really do, because today we gave ourselves, again, we turned them over. This is the most we turned over a team in a while, and we got out in transition, and so that was an improvement. We took care of the basketball, and that's something that we've been talking about. So again, you learn from every game, but at the end of the day, we got to get ready to get on this road and go down there and prepare to try to win a game. And that's not going to stop. We just got to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing these guys. I'm going to keep pushing them, and no one likes to lose, and our guys don't like to lose, but we got to do things, better, and we're just not doing them better right now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. You're welcome, Red. There he goes, a Red Autry on his way out of the old press conference room. There he goes. I don't envy him right now. Like, obviously a lot of it's on him, but you can tell that, is that coaching style? Is it players these days? Is it whatever? Like, clearly whatever message and tactics and effort and all that stuff Red is trying to communicate to the players is not finding its way onto the court. It needs to go on to the court. On to the court is where it needs to be. Again, if you're here, if you're new, if you're in a regular viewer, there's many of you here right now. Just smash that subscribe button. Really helps out the channel. Goal is 1,000 sooner than later, and we are on the road there. So hit that subscribe button, and if you'd like to partake on a small fiscal level, the $ next to the chat box as your friend, or just go and buy a bird feeder from our friends at Wild Birds Unlimited, as you can see on the screen right now. Get you the Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game somehow sooner than later. Hey, I don't know where we're going on that today, or a lot of these games going forward, but we'll figure it out because we love our friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. So we will figure it out. We will have a group discussion about it, and we will figure it out. And as always, link pinned top of the chat if you would like to join the show with a live video call, or you could turn off your video and be shadowy. Like, you can call in, like if you're camera shy, you can call in, and I can make you look like that. Ooh, witness protection. Witness protection. We can do that. Yeah. I will influence you on Syracuse, LA Orange, coast to coast. And yes, shout out to the most, Spatch and Louise. I have an envelope of stuff in my car from the most, passes and whatnot. We're going to work some giveaways and whatnots into the near future for our channel subscribers and members and whatnot going forward. So stuff to the most. And whatnot. No, Matt NY, not yet. Though this is almost exactly the time that he was working last Saturday. So we'll see on that, Matt NY. We'll see on that. So yeah, I just where do we go from here? NC State is Tuesday at 7. Is that factual? The Quadir Copeland revenge game. Oh man, yeah. I'll shout out random businesses, Randy Horowitz. What other businesses need a shout out? I'll shout you out. My car's in the garage, Ryan. If that helps at all, it's in the garage. It's in the garage. So that is hopefully keeping them slightly below. They do that sometimes, Patch and Louise, don't they? Sometimes they advocate themselves, don't they? Have they have a few boozy like a boozy adult events at the most. I think they work that into. I think they work that in. Yeah, Matt NY. I'm on top of my callers' work schedules, mainly because Anthony. I think Anthony called on Monday and apologized for not calling last Saturday because he was at work. So I'm not totally on top of his work schedule. But the game was at 2 last Saturday when Anthony was busy. So I'm just 1+1 in here. Welcome, Cameron, a friend of the Free 1-5. Thank you. If you want to do what Cam just did, click that $sign next to the chat box and then click around until you find the right thing. Like, it's in there. I trust you all to be able to figure that out. What do we talk about for the next 2 months? Well, Randy, shockingly, it's January 24th right now. Lacrosse season starts a week from tomorrow, which is just asinine, if you ask me. We're still trying to batten down our lax plans and whatnot we're going to do, but that's starting soon. And yeah, Red Watch. We're on Red Watch, so we'll be watching. And yeah, shout out Drex Subs. Not does anybody watch the Bob, like Bob does sports, Bob does bagels, Bob food reviews, that guy? His line that he likes whenever he's got something on his channel that's not a sponsor is it's like, not a sponsor, but would be happy if they were. So yeah, we'll just shout it all out. Shout out Hague's Family Real Estate in Washington and Iowa. Like, realistically, Hague's Family Real Estate we'll sling in Washington and Iowa. Those places are not near each other. If you were going to say Washington and Idaho, I'd say those places are next to each other. Washington and Iowa are not near each other. But yeah, if you want to sling houses in Washington and Iowa on the show, you know, we can make that happen. We can make that happen. Basketball-wise, I mean, realistically, Randy, barring some kooky winning streak that I don't think any of us foresee coming here in the near future, this is just going to be the slow and steady, talking more and more and more and more about what's next for Syracuse basketball. Yeah, we'll be talking more and more. I do like Mario and Salvos. Not a sponsor, but you could be. They do have a tasty pie. But yeah, you know what we made last night here? The shout out to our kitchen upstairs. We made some Detroit style pizza, like with the pan and like the cheese swooshed out to the crust and whatnot. Yeah, I'd never made that before. That was pretty good. Yeah, shout out to Detroit, the whole city, and their pizza operations. Like, we're still going just a standard New York kind of thing first, probably, but yeah, don't sleep on a Detroit-style pizza. It was good. A little cheesy and crusty and on the outside. Yeah, I could get down with that. I could get down with that. A coach watch section where he recaps the result. I mean, George, I've heard a lot worse ideas. Like I wouldn't necessarily rule that out because I mean, realistically, that's where it's all going. And I think coming up now, we got to start wrapping our mind around like, all right, who's next? Like I don't think it's going to be Jerry. I think Jerry would like it to be Jerry. I don't think, based on how things are currently going, it's going to be Jerry unless Sienna just absolutely catches fire, makes the tournament, and then does something. That like if Jerry does something, yeah, Randy. My current lean is to do more than 0 of them. Certainly, as the season goes on, in February we'll see. There's a lot of just rando games, but. Yeah, well, we're trying. I'm reaching out to lacrosse companies as well to see if they want to, sponsor lacrosse things. I don't know. Hand raised. Do something. Is start spamming emojis in the chat. Find the lax emoji in the chat if you'd be down for for lax postgame shows. Yeah, St. Louis. What's their coach's name? Shirts. Is it Shirts or something like that? We'll get real estate in both Washington and Iowa for lax post-game shows. Yeah. So, Mick Cronin, I don't know. Jerry, at minimum, you have to at least consider the idea, right? I think you got to look down the road a little bit at Colgate because of everything that he's done. Josh Shirts, yeah. Josh Shirts. Here's where Syracuse is going to be in a tough spot. Like, are you going to pay up? Because Josh Shirts, realistically, I'm not up on what Big Ten openings they're going to be this year, or let's put it this way, Big Ten openings that are actually like Big Ten schools, not the West Coast schools. Like, Shirts has been a Midwest guy. Like, that would make sense to me, him going to one of those schools if that opens. But that's it. Like, Hopkins, it's not the time nor the place. It remains the biggest, sliding door moment in the history of Syracuse basketball. If that had gone down differently and Hop had gotten the job when he was contractually going to get the job back now almost a decade ago. And we can, even if you gave him the job right now, we'd still never know the answer to it because it's not the same anymore. I'd love to go back in time and find out the answer to that question. We will never do it. Who else is there? I don't know. And George, I really haven't. I haven't rabbit holed it yet. Did somebody mention Tony Skinn from George Mason the other day? They're killing it. He's kind of he graduated. He was on the George Mason 06 Final Four team. They were one loss when we looked it up the other day. Like he's an interesting guy. And here's the other question. Like, look at Scherz was born in Brooklyn. All right. Look at a guy like Jay Lucas. Jay Lucas was on Duke's staff the last few years. Now, realistically, if you're Syracuse, as much as I was kind of impressed by Lucas and what he's got them doing and him after the game today, I don't think if you're Syracuse, based on what you just had with Red, pulling the trigger on another guy that has not been the head coach yet. And I'd say I'd toss the Fran Brown experience, good, bad, and otherwise, in the mix as well. I think you need to go get a sitting head coach, somebody that has head coaching experience before, realistically. But is there somebody, a young up-and-comer that's the next Shire, that's the next Lucas? I'm sure there is. I don't have a list of those names. Yeah, Luke Murray. If you get Luke Murray, George, from UConn, you also get Bill Murray, who I once saw wandering through, I think it was JFK. It might have been LaGuardia. I forget which New York City airport I was in at the time. I'm like, that's Bill Murray. He had just gotten off a plane from Nantucket, I do believe, and was wandering about seemingly aimlessly, and had a nice hat on. But then Bill Murray would be in the Dome, and that would be kind of fun. But at the same time, like I'd be leaning more to, can you find a guy that is, younger, up and coming, energetic, like ready to just pour himself into Syracuse basketball, that's going to excite the fan base. And while Fran did all of those things for football, right, and obviously they won right out of the chute, for the sake of stability, I want somebody that's also won some games. I'd like somebody that's also won some games. But to Randy's point there, like, if an SEC school's got a job opening and all that cash they got floating around, if a Big Ten school's got a job opening and all that cash they got floating around, as sad as it is, it's going to be hard for Syracuse to compete in that realm fiscally. So that's where you get stuck in a tough spot. That's where you get stuck in a tough spot. And nobody has said it in the chat, and thank goodness nobody said it today, FLJ. If anyone says Rick Pitino, for the love of God, just stop it. They're not hiring Rick Pitino. Not now, not tomorrow. He's 73. They're not hiring Rick Pitino. Coach Jack, either you win or you learn. Syracuse learned today. They've been learning all week long. A lot of learning. Yeah, LA Orange, and I think that's also big. The fan base needs to be shown that you're serious. With football, the Fran thing was just kind of like, okay, this is, and then, we heard him and we learned about him, and then the advantage that football has, who was right into recruiting and fun stuff was happening, like that all. Yeah, Jay Wright's not taking the job either. Jay's doing quite well, not coaching. I mean, Tirico will be involved one way or another, right? He's on the board of trustees, and certainly the board of trustees will be involved in it. Richard Pitino, like, he and Dad just went overtime today, right? I think Rick won his 900th career game, beating Richard, who's now at Xavier. Like, and Richard's an interesting case here because Richard's a guy, last name, whole thing, got hired really, really young at Minnesota, had some up and down moments, extremely ironically from a Syracuse perspective, got fired by Mark Coyle, former Orange AD. Then he's bounced back, and now he's at Xavier, and he's on the rise again. Like, that's an interesting name, right? That's an interesting name. Brad Stevens. Yeah, why not? The Celtics president and GM. He'll come take the gig. Yeah, like Richard Pitino is interesting. I'm not afraid of them as a program, Madden. Why? I'm afraid of their money. Like, if this Shirts guy who's in the Big Ten footprint, like, if I have no idea what Big Ten jobs might be open, but just cash. Yeah, George, I blame you. We're all over the place. And that's just people that we've tossed out in the chat here. I have no idea what Shaka's making at Milwaukee. I'm still freaked out that Shaka Smart has hair. Like, I don't know about you. Like, he was clean shaven at VCU in Texas. I just assumed he was bald and then, liked to make it look neat. He had hair the whole time. That blew me away. Yeah, Mike Tomlin. Program guy. Sean McDermott. Get Tomlin and McDermott. Nebraska will not be open. Yeah. Man, Nebrasketball. That's fun to say. Nebrasketball. Oh, man. Colgate. I think, why did I just forget his name? Colgate head coach. I feel so stupid forgetting his name. Kurt Fitzpatrick. Are you serious? I got to write basketball? Why would I be talking about Colgate football? Matt Langle. Yeah, like Matt Langle, I don't know what Colgate's up to this year. Honestly, when it comes to a guy like Langle, I don't even really care because he's, and I don't mean that they're 12-9. I don't mean that in a negative way. Like, he has proven he can coach a team. What I have no idea with Langle, especially because of the way Colgate operates, I don't know what his recruiting acumen would be. But no, he's a guy I'd legitimately give a look. And he's a guy that I think, because of what Colgate did to Syracuse a few times, I think that Orange fans would not completely crap all over hiring Colgate's head coach. Is that a nice way to put it? Like, remember this a few years ago when Fran got hired, and there was talk of, what's his name from Holy Cross, who is now at UCLA, Bob Chesney. And at the time it was like, Syracuse is going to hire Holy Cross as head coach? It sounded asinine. And then they didn't, and Fran happened, and then Bob ends up going and replaces Signetti at JMU, and he just got hired at UCLA. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe it wasn't asinine. This feels like this could-ish be that. Like, I really am surprised that Langle is still there, unless he just really doesn't want to, take a slightly higher mid-major job. I think Matt Langel is a really, really good coach. So I don't know. Alex Klein, I don't know who else they go. I think Alex Klein, GM, I think is doing a decent enough job, right? Obviously we saw the difference in, what's happening with Nate George's side. We saw the difference in what they're doing in the portal this past year than what they did the year before. It was a way, 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 way more organized plan of attack. Taylor Jenkins, that was one, I know nothing about him other than he got fired as the Grizzlies coach when he had seemingly done a decent job. I would prefer somebody, especially in this age of portal and NIL, I would vastly prefer somebody with college experience. I don't know where Jenkins stands on that. Yeah, Dan Mullen. Whiffed on him the first time. Get right back in there. Get back on the horse, they say, LA Orange. Get right back on the horse. Why let it be? Just get right back on the horse. Go get Dan Mullen. Yeah, McCarthy. We could get Mike McCarthy. He could just renege on the Steelers and do that. Would somebody leave Vandy? I don't know. With I have no idea what they're getting paid, but all the money the SEC has right now, I don't see somebody leaving an SEC job willingly for not SEC jobs. It doesn't seem likely. And the last time an SEC person came to the Big East, it's when Pitt hired. I don't know if it's the last time. It's the last one I remember when Pitt hired Kevin Stallings from Vandy, and holy crap, did that go horribly wrong. And then go figure, Pitt's AD. I don't know. Was Heather Lyke the one that hired Stallings? She's certainly the one that extended. Their current coach is going to miss the tournament 7 times in 8 years. She may be involved in the hiring process. Yeah, Steve Kerr, I'd take. I'm for Steve Kerr. I'm for Steve Kerr. Yeah, we just go get Steve Kerr. He's done everything else, right? Maybe he's looking for a new challenge at the college level. Maybe he wants to be bi-coastal and come back. I don't want to say come back east. He's a West Coast guy, but, just try out the East Coast, just for the hell of it. I don't know. Maybe he's like, you know what I've been missing my whole life? Piles of snow. Could be. I'd hate to rule it out. I'd hate to just discount the idea of Steve Kerr because you'd say, he went to Arizona. He's in San Francisco. He doesn't want to deal with piles of snow. Speedy Claxton at Hofstra. We tried one Hofstra point guard on the court, and it did not work. So let's try another, who's their head coach. It's a great name. How is Hofstra doing this year? Speedy Claxton is at least a basketball name that people are aware of. Hofstra Basketball. Hofstra is 13-8. They lost to William and Mary today, 89-82. That's a tough sell right there. That's a tough sell. Yeah, Phil Jackson. Phil's free. He has East Coast experience when he was doing whatever the hell he did with the Knicks there for a few years. Yeah, Mello knows Steve Kerr. Mello knows all those people. He could give them all a ring. He's got their digits. He could get them right on the. He could FaceTime them or whatever rich folks are doing for communication. He could do it. I don't know, but yeah, I think realistically, over the next month and a half, we're gonna have to start honing in on this a little bit. That was just like a cannon blast of buckshot scattered against the wall of ideas. Which ones are the good ones, which are not. I don't really know right now. But maybe we just said on that laundry list the name of the next Syracuse head coach, but also if we had, I don't even say if we had, we did the same thing for Syracuse football. Steve Ballmer, yeah, he's got basketball experience and billions of dollars. Think of the NIL. It'll be great. He might have to sell the Clippers. I don't know what the rules are on that, but I don't care. I don't care about the Clippers. When we did this for Syracuse football 2 years ago, the end result was not once said at this stage of it. Not once said. Yeah, Nate Oates, but the timing on Oates, When was that job change? Nate Oates. 51 years old. Nate Oates. Nate Oates took the Alabama job in 2019. Like there wasn't going to be a coaching change in 2019. Like realistically, that wasn't going to happen. That just the timing of that wasn't going to happen. Like you can say that people say Dan Hurley. I should have got Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley took the UConn job in 2018. The timing of that wasn't going to happen. Like if anyone not named Jim Boeheim was going to be the head coach in 2018 or 2019 or 2017 or whatever, his name was Mike Hopkins. And that's just the way it was. And that's like looking back that far, I think is just, that's not a realistic scenario. I don't think that's a realistic scenario. Yeah, just a buddy. That Jimmy Boeheim, smart, Ivy League education. Get Jimmy. Overseas professional basketball experience. Mark's going to get after it at the crate before the game. There we go. Oh, I'm on the screen in your truck, Kev? Yes. That is technologically exciting. We like the yes. Always be getting Dan Mullen. Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord has an exciting approval rate in Syracuse. Yeah, Florida Gator assistants. Do they have a good one? Like, the Gators are crushing right now. I just think it's going to be really hard to hire an assistant. That's a hard sell right now based on Red. Yeah, besides all the winning, he's an ass. Oh man, like in a different timeline, we could just go to the just Buddy and Jimmy, co-head coach, Buddy and Jimmy, co-coach. You know, there is another Boeheim that's currently available. Just toss Jim right back in there. Yeah, fire up Jim. Like he is available. Claims, yeah, just get Jim in there. I don't know. We got to do our wild. We have lost the plot on the postgame show here. Just get a Duke assistant coach. Yeah, that's what Miami did. Just grab one of them. Are we still a school? Somewhat like, let's say this: if and when the Syracuse job is open here within the next couple of months, this is still, depending on what they're paying, right? This is still a reasonably premium job, right? It's still Syracuse basketball. The national opinion of the brand that is Syracuse basketball is way better than we all realize because we're stuck in the muck and the mire of the everyday. The national brand of Syracuse basketball is still strong. It's just the basketball's not strong right now. So, Dawn Staley? Dawn's wild now. Dawn's nuts. I love Dawn Staley. Syracuse was in the Atlantis tournament, whatever the hell they call that, a few years ago. We were down there. That's a spectacular resort. And South Carolina was in the thing. And Dawn was there with her dog. Her dog's like yay big, and she's just walking around with her little dog, just walking down the hallway, just doing Dawn Staley stuff. She's a fantastic coach. Honestly, like she won't do it. She's getting paid a crap ton of money, and she has been very, I think, outspoken about wanting to stay in women's basketball and all that. But, like, realistically, if that was actually possible, like, Dawn Staley would not be a crazy idea. So, yeah, the brand will be done irreparable harm if this keeps up, Lauren. You're absolutely right. But I think nationally, big picture, I don't think, like, there has been a ding on the Syracuse basketball brand for sure. It has not been harmed as much nationally as it's been harmed locally. Right? Which Wild Hat Kool-Aid am I drinking, LA Orange? I don't think the national brand has been harmed as much as the local brand. Clearly harmed. I think if the next coach, whomever it is, comes in and starts winning, I think the national brand of Syracuse basketball will be fine. But to Lauren's point, like if the next coach comes in and the same stuff happens, that's when the brand starts disintegrating. Like that's when it really, it's like a little decline. That's when the national brand goes kaboom. Locally, obviously, the brand's in big trouble right now because, yeah, it's not going well. It's not going well. I think it really depends how it goes here, George. Like, it might get to the point, like, if this turns into a, where's the schedule? Do I have the schedule open in a tab? I think I kept it open. Here we go. So NC State Tuesday, like, not feeling great about that. Then you got Notre Dame in the Dome. Like, if you lose to Notre Dame, who's not good, in the Dome next Saturday for a 5th straight loss, and then your next 2 games are on the road at North Carolina and on the road at Virginia, you could, like, that Notre Dame game is really the only thing separating you potentially from, at minimum, a 7-game losing streak. Yeah, and then you're coming home for Cal and SMU before you got Duke and Carolina back-to-back. Like, that Notre Dame game is, like, if you don't win that game, you could be in free fall, and then maybe you have to just say out loud you make the move just so it doesn't become full-out disaster fest. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Lauren, I think, yeah, you've got to open up the checkbook as much as it can open. You have to be right on the next coach. You have to be right on the next coach. Because if you're wrong on the next coach, then it becomes all of this. Like, well, Syracuse has never won without Boeheim, and then it's been X number of years, and X years is going to have 2 digits in it, and then it starts becoming a mess. Thank you, Kevin. It starts becoming a mess. You have to get it right. You have to get it right. Like, I still think it's exceedingly possible to win at a high level basketball-wise at Syracuse, but you have to get the next hire right. Can't lose to NC State. Oh, they can. That Tuesday is going to be fascinating because Quadir is going to be just going hard. Q's going to be going hard. And what's funny is, like, you look at the Syracuse roster, JJ's the only one left that played with him. Like, the rest of them are going to be like, what's this guy's deal? Why is he so pissed? And JJ is like, hey, I know that guy. And then everyone else is like, this is weird. The portal. The portal. Gotta love it, don't you? Got to love the portal and the changes. All right, we've been going on. We've been going on. We still have 2 months left, realistically, to have that conversation. Yeah, BC was good 20 years ago, LA Orange, but BC's brand was never what Syracuse's brand was. BC's fan base is never what Syracuse's fan base was. Their good was never the level of what Syracuse's good was. But I mean, yeah, they never recovered from firing Al Skinner. Never recovered from firing Al Skinner. All right, let's pick a Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. Remember, there was a game today. It's still it's not pitch blackout in the backyard. It's not pitch blackout yet in the backyard. Here after 5 o'clock, we like that. Snowy. Doesn't look like any crazy wind disasters are happening, so that's good news. Who do we got? Well, what's anybody feeling? Yeah, Jim Calhoun's available. What's anybody feeling in a 9-point loss where no defense was played? The Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game, Donnie Freeman, had 14 points. Nate Kings had 11 points. Nate George had 13 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 turnovers. Kyan Anthony had 13. William Kyle had 10 points, 4 rebounds. William Kyle. Otto the Orange, always cheerful, permanent smile on the face. Cayenne, the fans, Otto. I mean, we're open to alternative suggestions. We gave it. The team has no electrolytes. They need more electrolytes. Cayenne to keep Mello happy. Yeah, Mello is notoriously invested in our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. I hear it. He keeps many bird feeders, all bought from the location in Fayetteville. We could go Cayenne. I mean, when Syracuse was playing its best in the game today, it was sparked by that Cayenne crazy step back 3 and then the dunk. Yeah, what the hell? Give it to Anthony. Yeah, why not? Right, Cayenne. Yeah, there we go. I think that's a quorum. Yeah, Cayenne's dunk was outstanding, Kev. It was an outstanding dunk. He got up. He got up. So, yeah, the hell with it. Cayenne Anthony's our Wild Birds Unlimited player of the game because why not? Why not? Otto's probably going to win one before the season lets out, though. Cayenne Anthony, 13 points in 21 minutes today as our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game because even though the final score wasn't fun, that dunk was pretty sweet. Be sure to check out Wild Birds Unlimited. I think, is today Saturday? Yeah, I think they're open till 6 today. They'll be open 11 till 4 tomorrow on Sunday if you need to go buy some bird-related products. Seed, cameras, feeders, baths, all of it. They got little heaters that go in the baths because, as you'll notice, it's freaking frozen out. Yeah, listen to Kev. Click that $sign next to the chat box and become a member of the channel. And for a great crowd here today, thanks all of you hanging out and hanging out for a long time after the game today for a conversation that realistically we're going to be having over and over and over and over again for the next month and a half. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it all out together. Do smash, just hammer that subscribe button or tap it lightly. I don't want you to break your phone or your mouse or something. More subscribers, the merrier for the channel. Helps the growth, helps it move out into the public, helps it all out. All right, with that, enjoy your weekend, everybody. Don't get buried too much by the snow. Also, remember, it's Syracuse. It snows a lot, and when it does, we just push it out of the way. Everything's going to be A-okay. So maybe we get a snow day on Monday. So with that, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for hanging it out. Next live broadcast, 11 a.m. on Monday, will be live, boink, in the 315. We'll do another post-game Tuesday after Syracuse probably loses to Will Wade and Quadir Copeland. So those are the next two live broadcasts. Yeah, the post-game show can be more entertaining than the game at points. Thanks all for hanging out. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you live Monday, 11 a.m.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.